Alright, so today in this video I'll be reviewing the 2022 iteration of the Bop-It Extreme. And before I actually start talking about the Bop-It Extreme, I might as well shoot down the big, huge, fat elephant in the room that is sitting in the corner. Didn't I already review the Bop-It Extreme 2022 edition a while back? Yes, I did. But the problem with that video was that it was awful. And yes, I can openly mock myself because of how horrible that video actually was. Like, that video was just absolute garbage. So, with that out of the way, yeah, let's get on to the Bop-It Extreme 2022 edition. I don't know what else to call it. Maybe the Bop-It Extreme Classic Edition. I feel like that works a lot better. Especially because, like the Bop-It Classic Edition, which omitted the Shout It feature, this actually omitted the Shake It feature, which is interesting. Before I actually demonstrate gameplay of the Bop-It Extreme Classic, I want to go over the actual design. So, this was actually released around... No, let me back up. This was released around roughly the time when Bop-It was celebrating its 25th anniversary. And it kind of really shows with the Bop-It Extreme Classic Edition's overall design. Intentional or not, but given how creative and how much Dan Klitzner really loves to sneak references to older Bop-It games and the newer versions of his Bop-It games, it would not surprise me if this was intentional. But, for example, the Bop-It button is purple, like a purplish pink color, which is interesting because that's the exact same shade of purplish pink that was used for the Bop-It button on the original Bop-It and the Bop-It Extreme. So that would not surprise me if that was intentional. Probably the most interesting thing that stuck out to me specifically was how, if I can get it to show up on camera. Yeah, Flick It. Its shape, its decision, the design in its shape was actually really interesting to me because it reminds me a lot of the way Flick It was designed for specifically the Bop-It app for Android and iOS, of all things. Twisted's design seems to be taken directly from Bop-It New Moves. You know, the one that has Hammer It, Selfie It, that one. That crazy one, which is actually one of my favorites. Spin It seems to be taking its aesthetic design from the Bop-It Extreme 2 and the Bop-It XT's iteration of Spin It simultaneously. Like, it looks like a combination of the two, if that makes sense. And Pull It's design is much like Twist It's, directly lifted from the Bop-It New Moves. I actually thought that these were the speaker grills, but no, the speaker grill is actually up here. Hopefully that shows up on camera because where Flick It is, it's kind of blocking it off, but hopefully it shows up well on camera. And the battery door is back down here. And it runs on 3 AAAs before anyone asks, in case anyone's curious, rather, pardon me. And the volume and the actual overall audio quality is something that I was very impressed by the first time that I actually decided to play this. Like, in one full go, too.
Solo! Blasting!
It sounds really good.
Quiet. Loud. Blasting!
Like, heck, even on loud.
Quiet. Loud.
It's, well, very loud. It's not even on blasting, but it sounds really good.
Blasting!
When you put it on blasting, it's not as noticeable as, say, other Bop-It games.
Start. I'm going to sleep.
It's not as noticeable as other Bop-It games that take that drastic change from loud to blasting, if that makes sense. But, like, still, it's just like the audio quality is really impressive. Both the volume and the actual literal quality of the audio itself in general is really good.
Solo. Passing. Party. One-on-one.
Those are the game modes that you have available.
Solo.
And it does have all the levels from the XT.
Expert. Master. Pro. Novice.
And it does still have the exploit whatever thing where...
Bump it to start.
Hold on.
Tap it. Party. One-on-one.
Hopefully I remember this right.
Solo. Expert. Master. Pro.
Yep.
Do 3 at a time. High score. 100.
I'm intentionally going to miss this.
Bump it. Twist it. Pull it. Go. Oh! Dude!
I messed up intentionally because that was just to show that that is still there. It was actually in the
Bump
Bop-It.
it to start.
It was actually first introduced into the Bop-It XT.
I'm going to sleep.
Whether that was intentional or not, I don't, and neither do any of my friends, know if that was intentional, but it's still a really cool Easter egg, whatever thing that I wanted to point out.
Solo. Classic. Party. One-on-one. Solo.
But I'm just going to do a little bit of gameplay. I'm probably just going to beat Novice or, play a little
Bump
bit
it
of
to
Novice.
start. High score. 100. Bump it. Twist it. Pull it. Spin it. Flick it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Pull it. Flick it. Spin it. Twist it. Spin it. Bump it. Spin it. Bump it. Twist it. Bump it. Pull it. Bump it. Spin it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Pull it. Flick it. Spin it. Bump it. Pull it. Twist it. Spin it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Twist it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Flick it. Spin it. Flick it. Spin it. Pull it. Bump it. Pull it. Flick it. Pull it. Flick it. Spin it. Spin it. Bump it. Pull it. Twist it. Bump it. Twist it. Spin it. Twist it. Spin it. Bump it. Pull it. Flick it. Twist it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Flick it. Twist it. Flick it. Flick it. Twist it. Spin it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Pull it. Bump it. Twist it. Flick it. Spin it. Flick it. Spin it. Bump it. Twist it. Bump it. Twist it.
Oh, it glitched.
Oh, so
It glitched. I think I bopped it too hard.
T2.
That's actually a running thing with all of the iterations of the Bop Extreme. If you bop the bop button too hard, it'll actually fail you.
I'm going to sleep.
But another thing that I actually noticed, two things that I noticed the first time that I held this in my hands for the first time, was it's actually a lot smaller in comparison to the other Bop Extreme units. Like, for example, the XT Extreme 2, and obviously, the original Extreme. It's a lot more compact than all of those. Another thing that I forgot to point out at the beginning of this video, because stupid, is this one does not have a headphone jack anywhere. Nowhere to be seen. Which, again, it's not a complaint, especially because if I had to wager a guess, it's probably a callback to the original Bop Extreme, which did not have a headphone jack either. Actually, no. A third thing that I almost forgot to point out is... pardon me, I had to swallow. Is the color scheme of the unit itself. I'm looking at it slightly off camera, so hopefully that makes sense. It's not exactly like a solid black, like a solid piano black color, but more of like that combination between gray and piano black, if that makes sense. It's obviously not going to show up that well on camera, but I'll try anyway. It's a really cool and really distinct color choice. Oh, and before, in case anyone's curious, these are not textured, much like the Bop-It XT's grips weren't textured. Well, they weren't textured that much. They were more matte finish rather than rubbery grips like on the Extreme 2. The Extreme 2 had rubbery grips. These are kind of just for decor, which is interesting. As a side note, like as an actual side note, as opposed to, oh, one more thing, is I don't think this one has seen a forum release as of this recording. So If someone wants to correct me in the comment section of this video, please do, but to my knowledge, it has not seen a foreign release, which again is a very interesting thing to point out. But I guess I might as well close this review by saying, actually no, by answering a potential question. Would I recommend this as someone's first experience with the Bop-It Extreme? Not for someone's first experience with Bop-It in general. No, please don't jump from original to extreme. But for someone's experience with playing an extreme after playing an original iteration of Bop-It, I'd say so, especially considering this is recent, so it's more available. Whereas the XT... Okay, XT isn't... It's not difficult to find, but it's kind of hit or miss depending on, like, if you're actually going to be able to find one. The Extreme 2 is kind of rare, and the Extreme is a little bit rarer than the Extreme 2, so for that reason alone, I definitely recommend the Extreme Classic. But yeah, I'd say this one is going to be one of my absolute favorites. Like, it's right up there with the Bop-It Extreme 2. Like, it's second place. Like, it's right next to the Bop-It Extreme 2 as far as my favorite iteration of the Bop-It Extreme layout is concerned. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this review of the Bop-It Extreme Classic Edition. This is Sir Bop-A-Lot, signing out.